Hey everyone, this is Jeff Baird of Jolly Holidays. And as a follow-up to previous video where I was lamenting the death of Photoleap on Android and looking for a replacement, a new tool is now available to us through the Projection Mapping Academy. It's called Night Canvas, and this is as close or better to what Photoleap had. And so I'm excited to have an option again that can give us easy AI facades to put on our house and even be able to do some short video animations too. So let's try a few prompts and images and videos and see how it looks. Okay, and I'm gonna try it with a few different ways, with snapshots or with line tracings. So depending on if you're using Luxido or something else, then we can see how it works. So let's start with a Luxido snapshot. And let's see, I'm always a big fan of Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, so let's just try that. Nothing fancy. It does have this enhance button that'll help you with the prompt. And playing around with it so far, it seems like keeping it shorter actually ends up working a little bit better, but maybe we'll try it both ways with and without the enhance. And let's do four four different outputs, four different images so we can kind of see, get a good sample size of what it looks like. So we'll generate it and it'll show up down here. It's pretty fast. Okay, there we go. We got four different images to look at. And it has, with Haunted Mansion, it can be difficult with these AI programs to know if we mean like a generic Haunted Mansion or the Disney specific one. But I do see some of the iconic elements in here. Got the organ in there. We've got a cool clock, candelabras. So quick and easy, and we get something that matches our snapshot. So I'm gonna go ahead and download these because I like to have this like to save these out for later use. And as a side note, when you run the generation again, it doesn't currently have history. So if you do see something that you like, then go ahead and download it right when you generate it. So this does have some kind of a generic look to it rather than specific to the Haunted Mansion. So I wonder if we could add a little more prompts, New Orleans style. Let's just see what that does. See if we can get it to green railings, white columns, give it a couple of the features of the actual Disneyland Haunted Mansion. Let's see what that does. There we go. Now it's looking a little bit more like the Haunted Mansion. I might tweak it just a little bit further and say white wood siding or something like that, but it's got the green rails now. Still has the clock, ghosts in the window. Very cool. All right, I'm going to save a couple of these and let's open up After Effects and make sure that these still line up. Some of them might have drifted a little bit. So let's see how well it matches my map after I save these. Okay, I threw those ones that we generated into Adobe After Effects to see how close they match. I've got this mask on the outside. Maybe I'll just dim that so we can kind of see how much it spills over. So this one, even though it looks really cool with it being tall, part of it gets kind of cut off. So let's look at a couple of these. And we could adjust this a bit if we really like it to try to make it match closer. Get that top part of the mansion to fit there and tweak with it. So you could probably play with it to get it to still match if you really like the outcome. This one matches really well. That one's lining up great as well. That one we lose the peak a little bit there. This one's probably one of my favorites, so it's maybe one I'd probably shrink down, and you can use PowerPin and After Effects or even Mesh. I think it's called Warp Mesh, I think. Mesh. yeah, mesh warp, where you can grab these individual lines and adjust it further, get it to work. So if you find something you like, you can still, and it doesn't line up completely, you can still adjust it. But overall, it's lining up really good. This is probably the easiest one to use. It still has a Haunted Mansion-y look because it's got the railing and it fits well. We can stuff the saturation on it so we can see that green a little bit better, things like that. So looks really cool. Let's try animating some of these. Okay, so if we come back into the tool and we can hit generate and upload one of those. So I saved out all those images, so we'll actually upload one of those that we created. So let's do one of these purpley ones because those I think will look cooler. So we'll have that as the input. And then let's just do just Haunted Disneyland Haunted Mansion since that's what we created this as. And generate a couple videos and see how those look. And some of the features I haven't played with yet. There is an upscale version, so I believe that it's done as kind of a lower resolution to make it fast and to burn through less credits, and you can see what the results are. But then you can upscale it, so it's at a higher resolution. And I haven't played with these two yet. I'm not sure what transition and the fun one might just be random rather than trying to make it match your map. But we can check that out and see what it does. Okay, here we go. Here's video number one. Not too shabby. I like the trees and vines blowing in the wind. Creepy shadows in the windows. It's got a cool green light to it. And keep in mind too that with AI, it's you still won't have the level of precision or predictability that you would doing it manually. So you can always use this as a base foundation and then go in and add additional effects, Atmos effects, or things from the Patreon share onto this to have a little more fine grained control. I like the detail of the clocks moving on this one. That's cool. Okay, let's see what this transition button does. Okay, so it looks like you can do a start frame and an end frame. Um, so what might be fun with that is if we switch these out and start with my snapshot and then transition to one of these spooky facades. Let's see what that would do. Okay, here's the first one. So that is kind of cool how you can start with your original house and then it morphs and changes over time to turn into a spooky one. So there's lots of fun potential we can do with that. And then it's nice that the button's right there too to upscale it if you find something that you like. Very cool. Okay, then let's try the same things with a line tracing of the house instead of the snapshot. Because some of the other tools I used, snapshot it was able to do okay, but it struggled with the line to know exactly what was what. Going to use the same prompts, so we're comparing apples to apples. Okay, so it's got a little bit different vibe, maybe more Disney-esque actually, which is interesting. So, um, I'm not entirely sure what all goes behind the scenes in some of these AI models, but maybe having less in the input image give it a little more flexibility to do Haunted Mansion specific. Because like these guys look like, especially this one looks almost like the Hitchhiking Ghosts. In terms of being able to fit, it looks like it deviates a little bit more. Like this one and this one would probably line up fine. These two, maybe not. So I wonder if the line tracings with that having less input will affect the whether it'll not line up or not. Let's try this enhanced feature and then I'll generate another four and see how well those line up and we can compare the enhanced versus just a simple one. So the enhanced button, as you can see, just takes your prompt, but it elaborates on it more. So let's give this one a go. Even though it's less Halloweeny, I like the lights on that one a lot. Okay, oh, I like this one. Very cool. We'll lose these things in my mask, but this part's got Leota in there. It's got the ballroom dancing. So I'm kind of liking the line tracing one. It looks, and the wallpaper even looks very Haunted Mansion-esque. So that is very cool. I think that's one I want to animate. Let's save out some of these that look like they'll match well. And I think I'll try that one I just downloaded for to try animating it. Yeah, let's see what this is going to do. Okay, here's the first one. I like it. This guy's going to show up well. So, this part would get cut off, this ghost would, but we'd be able to get the ghost dancing in the window, the ballroom scene. I think would look really good. Let's save this down too. And the other one. So this one has some panning and zooming, which usually doesn't work as good, but you get creative, you might be able to reverse it and then it's like zooming into frame. So very cool. Yeah, so all in all, I think this is a good or better replacement for what we had with Photoleap. It helps that it was built not just as a fun app for people, but that it's built with projection mappers in mind. And Projection Mapping Academy, the guy that runs this is part of our community. He's active in the Facebook groups. I have my Adobe After Effects course hosted on Projection Mapping Academy as well. So he's very open to feedback and even has a new Facebook group that you can join if you want to provide feedback on what features are going to be most useful for you. So let's do one more test. Let's see what this have fun does. And so like this one looks like it would probably just be an image not tied to your house is what it sounds like. So let's run that and see what the results look like. There you go. So where this might be nice, the first option is if you want it to be a facade of your house, but maybe you want to make individual assets that are standalone that you can place wherever you want to on your house manually in Adobe or in DaVinci. So I think that's where this one's going to be most useful. I like the photos. I wonder what the story is behind some of these characters. It's interesting. It could be fun. I think I'm going to save this. And then let's just try the upscale feature real quick too. It looks like you can do it with any video too, not just the ones generated from here, as long as it meets the criteria, less than 16 megabytes and shorter than 40 seconds. Upscale. And now we have our upscaled version of our Haunted Mansion. So there you go. I think those are all the main features. There's um, going to be other updates and upgrades coming along soon. I'm sure he's got the link up here to provide feedback for features that you want and the Facebook community. In terms of cost, it's very affordable. I don't remember for sure what um, Photoleap was. I think it was between $5 and $10 a month. And so this one is about $10 a month, so still ballpark, and that money helps pay for all the processing and the model underneath the covers. So very good value. It's totally worth the money, in my opinion, to be able to have something. And so if you want to just get a simple facade, animated facade as a foundation, and then build on that, or even just a standalone is still going to be coolest house in the neighborhood. So there you go. Well, speaking of AI moving quickly and changing quickly, I was just editing the video for this review, and already there's some updates to the tool. So one other thing I'll show you really quick, and then future updates I'll do new videos for, but they just added, in addition to the text prompt, you can also do it as an image prompt. So you can put what kind of style or house you want it to look like, and then get your output based on that. So let's give that a try and see how that looks. So how about we do the Psycho House, see what that does. And let's find a map. Okay, got the back of my house there for our map, and then we've got an image prompt instead of the text. And let's see what it does. So it looks like it did the reference image as kind of the foundation to do the effects. And I don't know, this looks like it might even be from an old text prompt. I'm not sure where that came from. So I might have to play with it a little bit to see if I can use this as the base with just this style. And saw this note. Maybe that's partly why it's confused because we've got two houses, so it might be getting confused. So maybe we'll try it. Let's try it with something else. Okay, so that was a good good I guess that's good to know. So if we upload an image of a house, then it might end up getting it confused because it doesn't know which one to use as the foundation. So using the image prompt for style or for some other thing you might want to add, then it stayed true to the original map. And that's pretty cool. So now we got some of the Haunted Mansion characters on my house. I think I want to run that through the video generator and see what it does. Right on. I like that. I might slow it down just a little to match the pace of the ride, and that would have bonus points of making the video a little longer, but that is fun. I like that. Very cool. I'm going to download that and save it for future use. One other change that's also been added, I think just last day or two, is historically having image models don't do a great job of keeping the aspect ratio and the perspective and the resolution the same as the original image. But that's been changed too. So that image that we created is at 1920 by 1080 to match the original map. So that's fantastic. Just to be thorough, I want to try this one more time with the Luxido snapshot so we can see how it works with both Luxido and more traditional maps. So I'm going to use that same reference image and let's see how it compares with the Luxido. Okay, and that didn't work. Yeah, that one did work better than the line since it had some probably some points that it could recognize as a house. So I actually do like this better than the line one. I like the boarded up windows. That's kind of fun. And this one probably is ideal because it fits within the outline of the house and it even has this little archway that's cool. So I think I want to save this one and I'm going to animate that one too, just for fun. So given that sometimes the snapshot works better because it's a picture of an actual house versus the line drawing, you could even build on these generations. I used to do that in Photoleap, get kind of a base image to start with using your line map, but then feed that base image back into the model to enhance it the way that you want it to. So as an example, you might run it through, like these are ones that I did from Photoleap. I liked their little Hobbit one that they had, but it usually wasn't spooky enough or Christmassy enough. So, but I would create that as a foundation and then run that through the model to actually turn it into the style that I wanted. So you could probably do the same thing. Start with a line map, get a basic house structure from it, similar to what a snapshot would have, and then run that image through the model to actually creepify it or make it into something for Christmas, if that makes sense. Okay, and here is the video from that image. Even added a cat, that's kind of fun. And then occasional AI anomaly, you got a cat with no head but two tails. But fortunately, that's outside of the space that would project on the house. I can mask that out easily enough. So there you go. Exciting and fun things in the world of AI.